Okay, so hi everybody, this is my second interview in the series of Life After Lockdown films, and today I'm joined by none other than Mark Radcliffe and Paul Langley from OON. Hello Mark, hello Paul.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing all right. I've had a very successful day. I've been to the tip twice because it's an odd number plate day today, so I'm allowed in. And so, I'm feeling pretty that it's been a comparatively productive day.
Fantastic. It's all go there then. And what about you, Paul?
I have been doing the boring stuff like editing some video from last night or from yesterday, and just writing another track. Actually, just a moment of inspiration, and I thought I'd dive on the equipment and just sketch something out.
Wow, are we allowed any teasers? Can you give us a hint as to what it is?
It's got 3 chords in it. There you go. That's all I can say.
It's one of your more complicated ones, then.
Yeah.
I wrote it especially for you, Mark. In the key of
So yeah, you just...
That's a snapshot of the working process of OON, actually. He works on them all day and night, and I do about 10 minutes every couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, now Paul was telling me there's been quite an interesting process of the way that you've been collaborating on music recently. I believe there's a bit of a secret drop-off somewhere in Knutsford where, demos are delivered. Is this true?
In the early days of lockdown, Paul would put something on a CD and then I would get a text saying it's on the doorstep, and it would be on the doorstep. It would be on the doorstep without a cover and without anything on it. So by the time I picked it up, if the weather was bad, it was sort of wet or scratched, or the dog had, tried to eat it. But most of them worked. So it was, yeah. I mean, we always work separately, at least in the early stages. We always have done with OON. I would write the words and get the concept for the song, and I'd say to Paul, "This is what it's about." I won't show him the words at the beginning. I'll just say, "This is what it's about," and so you write some music, how that makes you feel, that concept, and then I'll get the music back off him, and I'll try and fit the words around it and find tunes for the vocals, and then we'll maybe chop and change the words or the music to sort of make it all interlock.
Wow. Fantastic. And that's, I think lockdown's been quite productive in that sense. You managed to get some good work underway on the second album, haven't you?
Yeah, totally. We've done loads. We've done absolutely loads. It's we're like a year ahead, or maybe 8 months ahead of where we're planning to be.
Well, that's good. There are some benefits to lockdown. I know not many, but there are some.
I mean, Paul's been furloughed, and so I tend to have plenty of time on my hands. But Paul's been on furlough, so that, as he says, that's moved us months ahead, really, to the point that we've written and recorded all of the second album. In fact, we were luxury. We had songs that we discarded or put to one side for another time. We had more stuff than we needed this time. Having listened through to it, we've just decided that we want to put a female vocalist we know called Amy Smith, who's on the first album. We've just decided to put her on a couple of tracks. So that's we thought we'd got to the end of it when we put a harmonica player on it last week, but we've decided there's a bit more to do. Although that will be the end, because I think it's important with recording. I think one of the most important things is to know when you've finished, because it can go on forever. You can go on recording and tweaking it forever, and so there's got to be a cut-off point.
Yeah. Oh no, it sounds exciting, and I think there's a few fairly well-known names that you've been collaborating with on this album as well, isn't there? Are we allowed to say?
Dave Boardman.
No,
go on, Dave.
You said well-known names.
Dave Boardman's
That's what I was thinking.
Dave Boardman's played a guitar solo. I'll let you reveal the star names, Paul. No offence, Dave.
Dr. John Cooper Clarke.
Wow.
Who is the Bard of Salford, and unbelievably Gary Kemp from Spandau Ballet, and Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets, which I think when he agreed to do it, I think the number of cartwheels went into the double digits. It was brilliant. I was was absolutely.
Well, they weren't very good cartwheels, were they? I mean, I'm glad we weren't filming that.
I'd say
Can we see a little demo?
But it was I've been listening to Spandau Ballet with chant number 1 and to cut a long story short, and thinking, good God, he's actually on our record. But I was really blown. I still can't believe it. Yeah. But
I mean, that came about because of a shared love of David Bowie, really. That song, which we are releasing this month, because it's on the same date that the classic Bowie album Ziggy Stardust came out. Gary Kemp, we sort of became. We had a mutual friend who would put us in touch, and he loved the track, and he listens a lot to our radio show, and so one thing led to another, and he phoned me up one Sunday morning. He said, "Hey, I think I've got a solo for this. Am I too late?" I said, "Absolutely not." And he said, and so he sent me this solo, which is great, and he said, "You don't need to use it if you don't want to." I said, "Oh no, we definitely will use it. We definitely will use it." And so there he is, Gary Kemp. And I mean, actually, from the Pink Floyd band, The Source of Full of Secrets, I'm sort of ashamed to say I never really realised what a great guitar player Gary Kemp was. I knew he was a good songwriter and everything with Spandau Ballet, but I didn't know that he was a real proper full-on lead guitarist, and what he's done is great.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is brilliant. And you mentioned there that you did a gig yesterday, and that's part of what I wanted to talk to you about today. And obviously events are kind of off the table at the moment. So what was this gig? Where was it? How did it all come together?
Mark, I'll leave you to reveal that one.
Well, it was at a location in Knutsford. I'm not sure whether we're allowed to say where it was,
Secret
but
location.
it was socially distant. Paul and I. When we perform live, we're socially distant anyway. We're on either side of a big screen, and it's not a stage full of people and everything. And actually, the only other two people there were Jim Broughton, who does our tech stuff, and the Knutsford resident, and also Jonathan Farber, another Knutsford resident who did the cameras. So it was all strictly observed social distancing. But really, because we're releasing this track in a couple of weeks, less than that now actually, we wanted something to stream on the day of release, and so we just did, I think, 6 songs, of which 2 were new. And so we just wanted something to run with it, really. And so, we did that yesterday afternoon. And it was good to make sure that all the equipment that comes out of storage and everything, that everything still works.
Works. Yeah. But how did it feel kind of going on stage to an audience of, kind of 2...
It was one of our better attended gigs. So we were a bit nervous.
A lot of pressure.
It was actually, we knew it was going to be like that, but I mean, it was actually really nice just to be doing it again. And when I was doing it and when I was singing it, I was sort of thinking, well, I don't know how many people will watch this eventually. So I was doing it as a normal gig, really. We got dressed up for it. We did everything as we would do for a gig.
The full light up shoes and everything.
We've changed. We've got Alexander McQueen knockoff shoes and our matching suits. We were in much more our Gilbert and George sort of guys yesterday,
Lovely,
which I think is the new way forward.
Yeah, that's your sort of 2020 look.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed hearing the music again and seeing the films on the big screen, and it made me very hungry to go back to it, I must say.
I bet. Yeah, because I know you had some very exciting dates on the horizon this year, which obviously will have been postponed. But how do you think, what will sort of live music look like for the next sort of 6 months, year? I mean, have you got any ideas of how people are going to, tackle these kind of events? Paul?
I personally don't think anything's going to happen this year. Personally, because I think everyone's going to get really nervous about social distancing. For instance, if you played at the Salty Dog, which holds 80, and if they're observing a social distancing rule, then really you're looking at about 20, maybe 30, maybe 30 tops. And so I don't think you're going to get the atmosphere that you I don't know. I don't think nothing's going to happen this year. I think next year it's going to be really tentative. But
it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, like you guys have done, there's a lot of music being produced and it's all going online. But I just wondered, as an artist, how that feels, because I've been to some of your gigs, and there's great banter. Obviously, Paul, you're not allowed to talk a lot, but Mark, you like to talk to the audience, and there's a real sort of rapport there. So I wondered how that gig sort of feels when you haven't got that feedback.
Well, I mean, doing yesterday was just a novelty, but I mean, you can only do it once or twice, really. I mean, even if you did a gig and you start charging for it, and you might sell, 100 tickets to something online, but people are used to getting things online for free. People might, if they thought it was an artist, who needed financial support, I guess people say, right, well, I will give him a tenner or 15 quid. There's no reason why that couldn't work in a sense. I mean, people pay per view to watch boxing or whatever, don't they? There's no reason why music can't work like that. Yeah. But you can only do it really once, can't you? If you screen a gig and charge people for it, then it's accessible to. I know you can restrict the numbers like you can a gig. You can make it kind of, a certain number of people. But I mean, it's very limited. You can only do it once or twice, I think, and so I don't see it as the future. I think it's been a novelty and it's kept people in touch, and, it has been, it has been interesting, and some people have been very creative and inventive. But I think Paul's right. I mean, I've just had another gig pulled for November this year now, which was in Driffield in East Yorkshire, because social distancing, it just doesn't work. I mean, the finances don't stack up, and as Paul says, the atmosphere. Even if you made everybody, like on a plane, could you make everyone wear a mask? Well, I suppose you could, but I mean, how does that? And people like to have a drink, don't they? And I don't think it works. I think that we have got to wait until we get the all clear, really. But when that will be, who knows?
Who knows? Well, maybe, hopefully, we might see you at something fantastic like Glastonbury next year. Who knows?
Well, it's gutting that we were really looking forward to Glastonbury, obviously, and we were really, really looking forward to being on the Friday night at Blue Dot in July. We were looking forward to that so much. I mean, that Oon gig, which was about our second or third gig at Blue Dot last year, that was one of the greatest days of my life. We played in the afternoon and it was pouring with rain. So everybody came into the tent. So the tent we were in, which held 3,000, was packed. Wow. And it was amazing. It went amazingly well. And me and Paul were sort of looking at each other and thinking, blimey, we've done this in your back bedroom, and look at it now, and it was amazing. And in fact, I got so giddy and hyper with excitement, I had to go home at 8:30. I'd sort of was tired. I'd tired myself out. So then I was lying in bed just playing it all over again in my mind. And so I was really, really looking forward to. We were playing later. We were playing at 9:00 on Friday night at Blue Dot, and I was looking forward to that so much. So of all the gigs I've lost this year, that's the one I'm really gutted about.
Yeah. And have you both heard there's some exciting news in Knutsford? We're getting our very own Ye Olde record shop in the market. Have you heard about this?
I didn't know that. Oh, right, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was confirmed.
And yeah, it's coming in. I think the end of this month, or as soon as the shops are open, I think he's going to be part of the setup in the market. And I think you'll be a fan of the name, Slipped Discs.
Right. What is it, a vinyl shop then?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
So I think that's really having a bit of a move around in the market, and some traders are moving on, some are taking, switching plots and what have you. So I think he's going to be at the back. So I think that's quite exciting, and I like that. It feels like during lockdown, a lot of people have got more into music, and actually, a lot of their habits are changing quite a lot. So I think it's quite a good time for that sort of, independent shop to come back in.
Oh, well, tell him if he wants us to nip down and with some vinyl Oon albums and open the store, we'll go and do it.
Oh, fantastic. I'm sure we'll bite your hand off.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, of course we will. Yeah, we always support. I mean, we love Knutsford. We always try and support. I mean, I think that, we try and put something in the stuff I do for the music festival, which is sadly gone, and the gigs we do at the little theatre. Paul, for a long time, has brought comedy to the town, with his Lol Cheshire thing. So I think we're very much kind of like being in Knutsford, but want to feel we make a contribution to the cultural life of the town. We really believe it's important, and we're rather than just sitting back and saying, "Oh, it's all rubbish, nothing ever happens." We both sort of independently wanted to organise things and do something ourselves. So we're very keen to support anybody who's making a move into the town.
Yeah, great. Well, I'll put him in touch with you. Absolutely.
Yeah, we can do that acoustic gig, Mark, we were talking about.
Yeah, un acoustic. Yeah, it's you get the acoustic sound of Paul pressing a laptop, and you get me singing unamplified. It's an interesting experience. You're playing the slide guitar not plugged in. So yeah,
now that'll be one that we need to record.
Acoustic gig. Yeah, it's in its infancy, that, and I think it'll probably stay there.
Do it through the mask.
Oh, so just two last questions then for you before you get back to busy DIY and edits of things. To you first of all, Paul, what would you say has been the sort of the best thing about lockdown?
Having time to write, having time to sit down and just put 100% in to writing music, which I've never done before over a longer period. Yeah. It's really good. I don't want to, even though it was belting down with sun, I was quite happy to sit in the back room here, sit in my second bedroom and just look out the window and just sit there and just focus, staring at a computer screen all day, which is some people's idea of hell, but I think it's fantastic. I think it's great.
It's given you that time, hasn't it? Yeah, to create and
get up in the morning. The first thing I do is switch on, throw everything out what I've been thinking about the night before, and then delete it an hour later and start all over again. It's great. Honestly, I really love it.
And is this it? Is this the actual room that you're sitting in now where the magic happens?
Yes.
This is it. Wow, there you go. A little glimpse behind the magician's cloth.
Yeah, there you go. Poster, Oasis posters and you name it, it's there.
Oh, fantastic. And what about you, Mark? What's been the best thing about lockdown for you?
Well, unlike Paul, I have preferred to sit outside in the sun. I've done quite a lot of writing. I mean, I haven't done a lot of own writing because I'd done it all, really. And we had all the words, we had all the stuff, and Paul sent me the stuff, which I wouldn't usually be involved with the music at this stage anyway. Once I've listened to it and I've got the vocals down, and then he would send me mixes, and I'll say, "Oh, that's not loud enough. We need bits of that." We find that it's better. It's much better that way than two of us sitting there for hours and hours and hours, because Paul will do it and then he'll get lost in it, and then it'll come to me, and immediately having a new ear on it, we'll sort of spot something that's quite obvious, but not if you've been running it over and over again. So it actually does work quite well, even though it sounds a bit of a cop-out from me, which it may be as well. But I've been doing a lot of writing of a new book, which is fiction this time, but I've really enjoyed I've really enjoyed seeing the own stuff come on, but I've really enjoyed the weather and being with the family. When one of my girls is back from uni, and we've had a sort of quite a calm and quite sort of convivial family time. There's been very little rows at home, so I've sort of enjoyed that, and cycling around the surrounding lanes of Cheshire without cars sort of bibbing to overtake you and things. So I've found it strangely blissful in a way, but I am thrilled that we're so far ahead with this own record. Yeah,
that's brilliant. Well, I'll be excited to hear it. And can I just ask, will there be an accompanying badge? I know they're pretty hot stuff, aren't they? The badges.
Oh, I'll wait for Mark to design the cover first, to design the logo, and then I'll just give it to Zai, and he'll knock me up 50 badges, and then bingo, Bob's your uncle, etc., etc.
They'll go instantly.
Yeah, it'll be really good.
Well, I'm very proud of my collection of Oon badges.
Have you got the NHS one that you've done?
I haven't. No, I've seen it. It looks fantastic with the rainbow.
Yeah, I'll get one to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. If you could save me one, that'd be fantastic.
There's about 5 left. Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been really great talking to you both, and thank you very much. It's been really interesting.
Brilliant.
And
No,
let's
thank you.
hope
Thanks for taking an interest. It's great. You know, it's unusual.
Maybe we'll see you down at the big opening of Slip Discs in Knutsford.
Well, it'd be nice to be able to look forward to anything at the moment, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. Great. All right then, both of you, take care.
All right, Rachel.
And
Thank you.
speak to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.